All right. The camera on Zoom really shows my imperfections. The meeting ID, Alex, is 785 6656 6199. The password is capital Q, lowercase us, lowercase k, 91. I'm going to write it down in the comment section, okay? The ID is 785 6656 6199. And the password is capital Q US K 91. So I just wrote it down. Sorry, I'm going to eat chips. And you can join. Sorry, everybody on YouTube. I have a cold. So I'm hoping to talk about the indigenous, talk about what Trump said, according to what Maria talked about, how he made, I guess, Columbus Day a, what, Maria, a national holiday? So we're going to talk about that. And then, pretty much any other topics that our guest from TikTok want to talk about. So again, the meeting ID is, okay, Rich is here, 785-6656-6199. And the password is capital Q, lowercase USK, and the number 91. Okay? So this should be recorded. You don't have to show your face. Sorry, people on YouTube, I'm going to eat some chips. Amy, our friend here, Amy3575, is a chef and she made me hungry. She wanted to make pulled pork tacos. Actually, she's making it for her partner, and I got hungry. So we got Rich here. Hey, Rich, if you're here, can you explain anything you know about the indigenous of America? Since it is Happy Indigenous Day. I could take a
Yeah,
break
I think
talking with my cold self.
I think Maria would probably have a lot more to say on it. I don't know a lot. I know of the Trail of Tears and a few other things. Um, I know Pocahontas was pretty cool. But no, I'm not a history buff.
That's what's up. Hey, Maria, if you're here, I'm not sure if you are. Do you want to come to our Zoom? Well, I definitely thank you for being a trooper, man. 785 6656 6199. Then the passcode is capital Q US K 91. Okay, I just wrote it again, and then I'll wait for people to come. But yeah, other than that, I could talk about things that you guys want to talk about here. We don't have a lot of people on our TikTok. That's okay. Like I said, a lot of this content that I'm pushing on Zoom will be pushed on YouTube. I can say that what I learned today about the indigenous is that there's a lot of oppression and pain and suffering when it comes to learning about them. And I feel that from studying about them today, I learned that, Thanksgiving has been really twisted. How many other holidays do we celebrate are actually cover ups, right, for really painful historical events? Like,
For me, it's no question. It's Valentine's Day.
wait, really? Rich,
No, I'm being
please.
sarcastic.
Yeah, okay. Very funny. But like, let's talk about Christmas, right? But how much pain has been brought on by because of like religious wars? You know what I mean? Like, how many Christians have been killed? You know what I mean? And like, there's some like guy who's supposed to like, Santa Claus or whatever, who's supposed to like give everyone gifts. Like, I just feel like there's like a metaphor in it. I'm not gonna not celebrate Christmas. Like, I like the idea of Santa Claus, but I will never worship the idea of Santa Claus. You know what I mean? But I really want to know like how America does that and why. And why don't we give like I said, the Indigenous Day? Like, why would Trump even come out the pocket and bring up the Columbus? Like, Christopher Columbus. But it just comes to show that this is what's going on in our society, is that people want to preserve the history, whether it's good or bad. And Christopher Columbus supposedly discovered America, and they want to keep their statues and they want to keep the history, but they don't want to even recognize the pain that came from it. Like, they're just like, move on. This is kind of ridiculous, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you could make a claim that something like Good Friday is almost like gaslighting, right? Because of what happened on Good Friday. But I
Wait, can you
mean, then
explain?
you have
Because you said you didn't know things, but you do know things, Rich.
no. I mean, I don't know a lot of history detail, but I think it's important that we have a balanced view. Like a good example that's not about Thanksgiving, but it's about like Good Friday. We know, like, especially if you are a person of faith, that was one of the most terrible days in human history, bar none. But then we have it brought about something that we celebrate right after, which is, Easter. So you couldn't have Easter without Good Friday, right? So I think it's important that when you can celebrate a day without necessarily also be celebrating the tragedy, because for every tragedy there's good. Not everyone benefits from it, obviously, but so if for me, my family, we love Thanksgiving. But I don't. If somebody said, "Hey, they're offended," I would feel sorry for them. I wouldn't go out of my way to throw it in their face, but it's not going to change anything I do. And it's not because I'm insensitive. It's just I'm not celebrating what happened, the bad things that happened to somebody. I certainly can recognize them, but that doesn't mean that's what I'm celebrating. I think that really comes back to the debate about statues and everything else. It's like, well, there is some bad and some evil in everybody. I don't think that's fair to whitewash like anyone to say, hey, they were totally virtuous or totally evil. There was good in everybody. But, you know, what do you do when there's a mix? I mean, can you celebrate the good, or do you have to throw everything out? And I think that's the debate that rages to this day. If somebody says, no, you have to throw it all out. This is a line you can't cross. And other people are like, well, but there's this other good stuff too. So when I celebrate that, I'm not celebrating the bad things they did. I'm celebrating the good things they did. So
Right. And I think that's something that I watch, because I put a whole bunch of videos about the Confederacy, like kind of like the same thing, where people think like the Confederate flag is like tradition. But there does come a point where people forget and are not sensitive to the fact of the bad events, and just kind of like just want to move on, and people are still hurting. So what you said just now about that people should like be, they shouldn't just have to like, recognize the bad or anything. I actually did a video on TikTok kind of going at some dude who was not even from America, but said basically what you said, not everybody's evil, like everybody has done something bad, but nobody today should have to pay for things that their ancestors did before. But I said, but they should have to pay for things that they're doing today. So, I love white people. Like, I can see all of the good things, but I can also see the stuff that's happened before and still happening because they're not taking ownership. So that's the problem that I have. It's just like, okay, we could all move on if, as a race, everybody came together and says, listen, we're going to own it. And there are a lot that do. It's not trying to make people feel guilty, but, to me, white people of this country need to own the inequities and harm and pain that's been put on other cultures to conquer and divide. And it's still going on today.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot to like kind of really unpack. But if I were to try to summarize it just from a different point of view, I think I would summarize it like there is a great deal that we have overcome as a country with um, our prejudices, and there's no doubt that those prejudices have had a dramatic effect on people and their lives and whatnot. But I think that the turmoil that you see today isn't resistance to the change. I think it's resistance to the definition. So if you were to tell
Definition
me,
of what?
what's that?
The definition of what?
So I think what worries me the most is we see things thrown around as this is racist, that is racist, that, and everything is racist. And to be honest with you, looking at it from as objective as I possibly can, I guess you can't say anyone's perfectly objective, but I think that does more harm to racism than even what's going on. All people seem to be doing is uh, they seem to be running full steam into applying it everywhere they can,
Right.
and all that does to me when it's not even close to obvious, all that does to me is dilute it. I mean, there was real racism and it was really tragic, but if you're going to say this one thing, which is probably very innocuous, that's racism,
Like
well
the
then it's like,
test talk yesterday that you didn't really see eye to eye with equity inclusion.
well, I looked at that more as more of like a debate sport. I don't take anything personally.
But I
I
do
think I
want to
bought
say that what you said just now, you said was racist. No, racist is. And um, what I want to say is, I have been a victim of racists calling me racist. And I've made multiple videos defending the fact that I'm not. And I do feel that if there's a society, there's a strategy in society with white supremacists that are trying to normalize or deplete racism by overusing it to make it seem like it's not worth anything. I like how could I said this? How could someone call me racist because I'm saying that I want justice and I'm calling out the racist, but they're saying that we're racist because we don't agree with it. It's just really jacked up what's going online, and you got to admit on TikTok, it's kind of like a crazy like Western experience where people are coming out of the pocket just calling people racist because they don't agree with you.
so I study a lot of psychoanalysis kind of for fun and temperaments and all of the like. I go pretty deep into social analytics and behavior, and I can tell you TikTok is so not a good representation of real world. I guarantee you that while you may find what you're looking for, it's pretty much impossible not to.
Right.
They TikTok is designed, the algorithm is designed to feed you what they want you to see. And it's done in such a way that they will send you things that irritate you. That's the hook.
Oh, really? You think
Yeah, it's
so?
game theory. It's called game theory. It's basically it's by design. It's how we design things in AI. It is like we know how to hook you. And there's a movie called Social Dilemma where they expose a lot of this. But The idea is they know how to hook you. And so they'll send you things that they know you agree with because they can read your analytics and the things that you're doing. The things you swipe on, how long do you watch a video before you swipe? They can tell all of that. They know exactly what you believe right now, and you don't even have to say a word.
So
But but the danger is we've allowed ourselves to believe the filter bubble is real. And that's scary because the truth is, I do things like this on purpose to make myself get out of the filter bubble because I know it's not a representation of how real people are.
right.
And and
But
it's
is it
scary.
though? Or maybe just people are really silent about who they are. Because what I found out on TikTok is, I'm almost 35 years old in a couple months. And, I didn't really get to grow up in racism era, right? So in my perspective, this is past the Jim Crow law, past a lot of the obstacles. I grew up in the 90s where, it was pretty much like whatever. The emo time where people being
Yeah.
emotional, pretty much like hip hop videos and just having fun and being a kid. I don't know. But what I've realized from TikTok is that racism is freaking here, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that it's here in some form, but what TikTok does that's very disingenuous and that people don't know that it's doing it to them is it's magnifying the issue because that's the hook. That's how I addict you to it. That's why people get caught swiping for hours. It's by design. It's not done on accident. It's very much by design.
But then you're attracting, it's pretty much like universal law on crack, basically. What you're asking for is given you at a high
Well,
level.
they yeah, they know that if you get one or two accounts that are just outrageously offensive and the rationale is terrible, and it's just like, say for your case, it would probably be like a Trump supporter saying, "Look at this, I'm just gonna push this guy down on the ground just because, I had nothing better to do, and that was my argument for why Trump 2020." That would really engage you. It would irritate you, and they know if they feed that to you once every 17 minutes or whatever, they adjust it for each person, that it will hook you in and it distorts your reality. It's not, if you were to walk around your neighborhood and never have social media at all, you would have a very different worldview of how
Yeah, I
things
would
are
have
going.
a world view of being naive. I do because like the mere fact is these situations are happening. These things are happening. It's not like when that dude got kicked down, hypothetically, as you stated, it's not like the trigger wasn't there. I mean, not everybody reacts the way that I do. So, they're not going to know that every person can get triggered. It just so happened to hit a jackpot with me because I do get triggered because I'm a person who wants to fight for what's right. But people get deleted. They've blocked me. They put me in TikTok jail. So if that's the case, why is there so much monitoring uh, as far as censoring on their part?
you
So how do
you
you
don't
explain
have to
that?
be totally outrageous in order to play this algorithm against people. I call it the filter bubble. I don't know what other people use for the term, but the idea is I present to you a worldview that is real, it's tangible, but it's artificial in the sense that this is not representative of our actual population or anything that you would encounter in other, I'd say, real world or real life, because it's not inside your sphere of influence. So I present you this worldview, and here's the trick: I convince you that if you don't see this worldview, you're naive. That's the trick. But the real evaluation of what you're being fed is equally, if not more so, naive. That's
But
the
but
that's
the
the
thing
thing that goes
is,
deep.
that's a really scary
It
theory
is.
because the mere fact is, um, it's a lot of it's negating the fact that it's actually real though.
Well,
So
some
if
of it
I was to
is.
say, you know what, you guys, I'm gonna get back to real estate. I'm gonna get back to hi Alex. I'm gonna get back to doing my thing. But it was fun here. Like if I thought it was like a game, but then I go in the news and I see that people are dying from police brutality. That Trump supporters are plaguing the world with their right wing rhetoric, trying to exclude trying to build a wall. And then I look in my pocket and realize I'm broke. I don't have any support because Trump supporters don't support leftists, and I'm living in a Republican town. And this stuff is affecting me because when I get pulled over, and then somebody looks at me like I'm an African American woman that's going to break the law, and this is all the things, everything that's happening on TikTok is happening to me, but I'm not doing anything about it. And then what's real, what's not. Like I rather let people set themselves up to knock them down. And when I found out the proof is in the pudding, we live in a very, very racist country. Like I think what we're seeing is just absolute reality because people get a lot of encouragement behind, and most of these Trump supporters, by the way, that are very strong-minded, don't have their real faces. So this is, to me, this is their authentic self coming out spiritually and saying, this is what I think about Black people. This is what I think about this, and that. And how do you explain Candace Owens, who's making money doing it, traveling the world and rallying up people?
So here's how you know if you're still tethered to the filter bubble where it's
Right.
controlling you like the Matrix. This is how you know.
The Matrix.
This I mean it's an
You got
analogous
some
that's
psychedelics, man. Somebody's gonna watch this on YouTube going, yeah, dude, I totally
well here
get it.
they'll probably come and dox me because this is at their money train, right? But
Right.
this is how you know you're living in the filter bubble
Oh,
and that you want that you it doesn't mean what like you're saying, it doesn't mean it's not real. I'm not gaslighting. It doesn't mean it's not
okay.
there. What it means, though, is a typical person with any social etiquette whatsoever. If they see something they don't understand, I don't know, pick like Trump's building a wall. Okay. If you if you see that, well, maybe you don't instinctively like that idea. There can be a million reasons why. Okay. Well, a person that's typically going to approach that with some sincere intellectual curiosity. What they're going to do is they're going to find somebody that's a proponent of it and they're going to ask them, and they're going to ask them in a way that's a conversation like this, right? They're going to ask them, but that person isn't going to just jump out with ad hominems and start attacking the character of you. They're going to try to invest in a real rationale for their decisions. And you're going to understand, you may not agree at all, but you're going to understand. And what that does is that takes away the extreme kind of conclusions. Well, that's what you do when you're not in the filter bubble. But when you're still in it, and you may not even know you're in it, is you'll encounter that exact same scenario, and you'll presume the reasoning why somebody's doing it is because of these things that you've been fed from the media or any other filter bubble,
So for
and then
me,
you project it on there.
I feel like you're conservative. Like you have very conservative views because of your language. Because if I wasn't intellectually aware, which I believe I am, I might not be intellectually book smart on some people's level, but I'm very, very sensitive towards uh, my intuition. And what I can say is I just went through a situation where I was celebrating, I think, 20,000 followers, and I went to a bar near my house, and I met some people, and I told them that I am a political commentator, and it's like a growing show, and I just whatever. Anyways, I ended up telling them my point of view, and they were actually Latino Trump supporters. When I tell you, this guy at the end said he wanted to like wrap his hand around my neck, it was actually more aggressive in person than it was online, because I had to walk out of the bar the other way because I was there by myself and I was just talking to people. But the minute they felt agitated, especially when there's alcohol involved, it almost got violent. So I just see the same scenario. It's just aggressive people in society with their point of views.
Well, again, that would be an example of someone that's not in a properly social etiquette kind of mindset. In general, though, pursuing the intellectual curiosity, we have a pretty good sense of how to filter that out. I would use this as a perfect example, right? I'm pretty sure we have diametrically opposing values and views and whatnot. Maybe not values, but at least solution-based viewpoints and perspectives. Well, do I fit the narrative of what you've always assumed to be a Trump supporter? And I already know the answer because I've heard your commentary on
Well, let
other
me let me
things
see what you have to say.
about do I think that of you?
Yeah.
Do I think you fit the Black
No, do
Lives
you
Matter?
think that I think that you fit the stereotypical Trump supporter?
I hear what you say about Trump supporters when you don't know I'm in the chat. So I mean,
What do you think?
Oh, I think I think you go a long step with the filter bubble. I think you're totally attached to it.
No, you're wrong because the mere fact is I've had real life situations that were similar to the virtual world. And like I said, I have witnessed it being even worse. And actually, I would even say to the extent that I wouldn't talk about my TikTok life outside of environments that I feel comfortable with. I think my life would be in danger.
Well, not your TikTok life specifically, but the same values that you would
Like
kind of conversate here.
what I think is you have extremists on both ends.
Right. And that's what so
And
this
you, to
is
me, are not an extremist, but you are a conservative.
right. But so the filter bubble, just to kind of bring it back, is the
So how
danger
do you
of it.
explain this? So wait, hold on, Rich. Let me just say this. So what you're saying is what you are, and I do think that you are maybe not I don't think you realize that I think you are gaslighting me, but on another token, I want to say, do you think if I went to Florida, like say for my honeymoon, and we were at a bar and we were talking, you think our conversation would be different?
Oh no, I mean this is how I talk
Exactly.
to anyone
So
like
you just
that.
proved yourself wrong.
I mean this is how I would talk to him, right? Same thing. No, I'm not saying that this is the filter bubble. I'm saying
Yeah.
TikTok feeds it, and what it does is it feeds you a reality that gives you a sense that you can intuitively guess what other people's motives are, and just be so if you have this
Well, yeah, that's called
value.
SEO though. Wait, hold on. But I'm a professional, so we real estate agents use marketing. That's just SEO. So anytime it's search engine optimization. So that's not really like a trick here. That's just how the internet works. If you put something online and you context a certain word, SEO will come into effect. That's just the way the system works. But I do want to tell you that Amy said she doesn't think that you're a stereotypical Trump supporter. For me, I feel that you're more so a conservative. Or do you
Is it
love Trump? Because to me, Trump supporters, yeah, and that's why I don't feel I agree with you
Nachos.
because I don't see you pushing the Trump train. You know what I mean? I see you being yourself, having very conservative values. To me, you kind of sound like the way Candace Owens should talk to people. Like you
well
need her job, is what I'm saying.
she's got an image that she's got to sell, let's be honest, you know, but it's all marketing too. But again, the danger isn't, forget the bubble for a second. The danger really is to society is that if you know I'm a Trump supporter, what values do you project onto me without even finding out?
Oh, tons.
Yeah, yeah,
Tons.
exactly. And
Because
that's the danger.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what's
I
eroding
understand
our
that that's
society.
major, but Trump supporters really set themselves up when they did that because if you really believed, and I've seen so many conservatives do this, and it's so funny to me because it doesn't take an intellectual person to understand that if you were a conservative, then you would focus on those conservative values and not Trump. I think you guys should completely denounce Trump. You guys should be just as pissed as far as conservative and Republicans go than everybody else because let me tell you something. It's not if he is a rapist. I mean, the documents are overwhelming with multiple cases, right? Dockets upon dockets about him taking advantage of women. I mean, I even read in one document that there's a chick missing. You can't negate the fact that he was a part and associated with Jeffrey Epstein's freaking hoo-ha. I mean, what do you want to call it? A young woman. What is that? Pimp uh, business. I mean, let's just be honest. It is what it is. And Trump has been very vocal about being a misogynist, xenophobic. I mean, even he's never admitted to being racist, but he just now denounced it, and he's been the president for over 4 years. Okay, Charlottesville, Virginia, good fine people. Then he said about the Proud Boys. He said, what did he say? Sit back and what did he say? uh, hold back and get ready, whatever you call them. I'm feeling sick right now, so I'm not remember every word, but he even condoned them. So at some point, you have to say, like, you guys are enabling the worst type of character to be our president for another 4 years. So yeah, I absolutely, when I saw a house that had over 30 Trump Trump pins signs, I thought, I have a daughter. And just an accusation is enough for me.
So here's a question for you. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of
13.
different things
Actually,
there.
my daughter will be 13 next week.
Cool. Congratulations. So that means she's in seventh grade.
Carol Jean. And everybody on YouTube, you probably already know. Everybody on TikTok, oh, the 6 people that are here, you already know. At what point do conservatives and Republicans say, like, it is what it is? Like, can conservatives and Republicans just be focused on what's right for the country and that's right for them?
So I think here's the question for you. I'll flip it back on you. When
Like,
was the last time you with those things, like let's say the Trump is a racist thing. When
it
was the last
is.
Okay, when was the last time you asked a conservative why if they think he's racist and why or why not? When was the last time?
When was the last time that I have, okay, that's the easy one, okay? You think I got 30,000 followers from not talking to Trump supporters? No, I've talked to a lot of them. And the
Like
mere
this.
fact, yeah, well, let me just answer the question real fast. The mere fact is Trump supporters have never denounced the stuff that he's done. They've always stuck up for him in every case. That's how they get by. It's not, is he a racist? They're gonna say something about Biden and deflect. Like, it's always about deflection and steering people's minds and thoughts towards away from the truth, which is, yeah, he is racist. Like, he's been sued from fair housing for discriminating against Black people. He's had a situation where he removed all the Black people and women from a casino so that a mobster can gamble. Like, these are things that just have happened. If you've been sued by the fair housing, you've done something really wrong.
So have you looked into what the competing argument for that is?
Yeah, the argument is always deflection. So that's
No, no,
why
no.
I'll
Like
ask you right now. Well, and they always ask me, tell me one thing. This is what they always say. I've asked this question so many times to conservatives, and I'm going to ask you the same question. So I'm going to throw it back at you. And actually, what you asked me to ask them is, do you think that Trump is racist?
See, that's where I was wanting to go with it. The truth is, I have no idea.
You don't know yet. Fair housing, but Rich, you're a smart guy, man. It's like, this is what I see. So everybody that's watching, this is what happens. Rich is my friend, and I respect his point of view. But at the end of the day, there is this lack of ownership when it comes to Trump, and they're enabling a beast.
Well, remember, there's something called I don't remember the type of bias. It's not confirmation bias. It's a different type of bias. But here's how it works. If you are in support of somebody or
Okay,
something
Amy.
that lines up, oh, bye, Amy.
Oh, no, she's here.
Oh,
But
did she want to?
wait, what did you say? Oh, Alex. Can you hear me, Alex?
Yes.
Um, we would all like to hear your thoughts after this point is made. If that's
My
okay.
thoughts?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
Put
about
her on the spot.
any thoughts.
Oh, okay. Well, if you ever if you ever want to say something in regards to anything that matters to you, you let me know, okay?
Okay.
All right, love.
So I guess if you were to ask me if I think Trump's a racist, and my response is I have no idea. And the way I would justify that response is I don't know what's in his heart any more than I know what's in Biden's heart. I don't know. Now
Don't know yet. There is, okay.
Let's
So
go back
let's talk
lifestyle.
about actually, there's somebody that agrees with you. His name is Captain
Oh.
ASMR, I'm sorry. Captain, I need to put my glasses back on. Captain ASMR. He says Trump is not racist. However, what is the definition of racism to you, Rich?
Great question. And that has been tumultuous to our culture in the last 3
And
years.
also, I'm going to listen to you for a second because you have a supporter here. He says
Oh, okay.
he has the platinum plan.
So, I mean, there's an argument. This is one of the arguments that he's not a
By the way, this
racist.
is so entertaining to me. I love doing this. I hope I can do this forever. Go ahead.
I can give you about probably 12 or 13 different arguments that show he's not racist. But at
Oh,
the end of
please
the day,
do.
I can't
The world wants to
prove
know.
it.
It's
So so one of the arguments I think he's making, I don't know, I don't speak for him, but I think one of the arguments he's making is if somebody was racist, why would they go out of their way to really try to help Black people?
Okay, so you think he really helped Black people? Tell me
I'm
how.
not racist.
Well, that's the argument, right? That's with the
Because
platinum
I'm
plan
black.
and there's
They're
other
talking
things
to
too.
us.
I'm not racist.
Wait, what?
I'm black, so those are my people. So what do you think that he's done? Because I'm not seeing it.
Well, I mean, that's one example. He's also let several, I don't know, thousands, I don't know if it's
Black Lives
millions
Matter, people.
Out
out
of
of
jail,
out of
right?
prison, right?
During
Yep.
a time where they're trying to promote for BLM burning, looting, and murdering. And then there is people that are Republicans bringing up the statistics of criminals. Do you do you think that okay, can I ask you this? Do you think that all African Americans that are in jail are innocent?
Do I think all of them that
Yeah,
are in jail are innocent?
yeah.
I think that the judicial system is a pretty fair system. It's not perfect, but I think it's pretty fair, and I don't believe there's racial prejudice within it because it's really determined by the jurors. So you'd have to ask, are jurors racially biased? And then when you ask, like, well, there's black jurors convicting black people, are they biased? I mean, are they
Probably
racist?
that black people can be biased. Look at Candace Owens.
To other black people though is I guess
But
the
but
point.
but what's amazing to me, Rich, is the fact that you think Donald Trump has done something for the just listen to this. You think that he's done something for the African American community by letting out incarcerated criminals. And then the Republicans going back to society and saying that all these negative things about us. Supporting Candace Owens saying that the 70% of missing fathers, that we do
Well,
50,
those are huge problems though.
30%. Yeah, but bringing up all of our issues and then releasing our issues sounds like you're trying to put fuel on fire. Now, why not focus on the education? Why not focus on allowing us to have more opportunities, more jobs that are going to bring forward, like the platinum plan that you're talking about, that will probably never happen. There were some great things in the platinum plan. I love the platinum plan. In fact, if he would have made it an act and not just a plan, I think I could have voted for him because there were some great things that are there, making sure that our towns are more safe. What's sad is that there are African Americans right now living. Oh, that's my son. He's got a little coat too. There are African Americans living in towns that are terrified. You know, what happens if you release some real hardcore criminals that are killing black people? Then you want to bring up the black on black crime? Listen, to me, you are not doing nothing for the black community by focusing on incarcerated criminals.
Well, again,
How about focus on the cops and the system so that they're not being convicted wrongfully? I think you need to start with the system, and then we could talk about the people that got incarcerated.
well, you went to the point that Trump is racist, and there's probably about four or five other things I could name.
He
The point
literally
is,
said Haitians all have AIDS. He literally said that Chinese brought a kung flu virus. Now, if they were the cause of the pandemic being spread, tell me why. And I will recognize that he did shut things down. So I do appreciate some of the stuff that he has done. But why would you even make some type of joke off of something that took 200,000 people's lives?
with the joke
The
about
kung
the
flu
name,
virus? That
I
doesn't
never
even
heard it.
rhyme with coronavirus. That
So
is completely attached to their culture. You might, if it was a black virus, you might as well call it the nigga virus.
the what?
What has the virus?
Come on. That's
I
something
have
racist as hell.
so I have no problem with them calling it the China virus or even the Chinese if it means the same thing. Like it
Yeah.
has
But why
connotations,
you
but
don't, because you're not Chinese, but I'm telling you, Chinese people are very offended.
um, I've only known two people out of maybe like a dozen or so that have objected. So I don't know. I don't know that it's widespread, but I do know this. If you were to ask a Trump supporter, is Trump racist? They're gonna say no,
But
but
yeah,
and they'll
but
cite
they're completely blind to the reality.
or
He literally said that black people are lazy. He literally said that he'd rather have his money. Listen, I read these documents. He said that he'd rather have his money be counted by a short, I think he said fat Jewish person with a yarmulke than a black person. Did you hear
are you
what he
talking
said
about
about
like
a woman? He got recorded with that other guy on daytime, Carson, whatever his name is.
grab him by the pussy?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, but he didn't just say grab him by that. He was like glorifying that he was pushing himself onto a woman who was married and wanted to take her out to get a couch and stuff like that.
I
He was
promise
like,
you, if
I
you
put
ever go into a
myself on
locker room,
women.
it's way
He's
worse than that.
disgusting. Huh?
It's if you ever go into a locker room, it's way
Oh
worse
my
than that.
God.
That is
Is it
so
locker
censored.
room when somebody is being of taking advantage of a 13-year-old girl?
Again, if I were talking to a guys, I know I have said way worse
God
than that.
bless you, for your
I
honesty.
have,
Because you making
but
me,
I'm honest
you
about
made
it,
my
right?
night tonight, Rich.
Thank
You
you.
really did. You made my
I
night.
but I'm that doesn't mean I'm a sexist though. It just means that
Yeah, but it does though. Because
no.
when I'm telling you that I'm a female and I have a daughter, and Trump has spoken on how he treats women, he says, I just kissed them. Okay. I'm a victim of RAP. That happened to me. I was drunk that when I was younger, and I made stupid decisions. I decided to go home with a random dude. It happened. Okay, was it the worst thing in the world? I survived it, but knowing that that happened to me at like a teenage age, I can't imagine. I'm not no victim. Listen, I made a stupid decision, and I paid the consequences. For some people, they can play victim. I didn't. I just moved the hell on and never decided to leave the club with a guy ever again. If you're young, do not leave the club with random people. But when I think about that happening on a 13-year-old who doesn't have the cognitive development or the energy or the education to get out of a situation as older men, there's been situations where he's offered girls opportunities. He used to own a beauty pageant. I don't know if he still does, Miss America. And there have been girls that have come out and said that this man violated them. That's okay with you,
I
Rich?
mean, it was. I'm not saying it's okay with me. I'm
Wait.
just saying it was okay with everyone else at the time. And the reason it didn't raise any flags at the time is because it wasn't obscene at the time.
Well, it just sounds like you're enabling the worst type of dude, man.
Well, no, I mean I'm giving you some
But that's why I
counter.
know you're
Say
conservative.
something.
But I appreciate you sharing that. But even this is what I'm talking about. This is my problem with conservatives is the mere fact that when the evidence is in your face, they still like. I honestly believe that if it comes out that Jean Carroll, which has a pending case right now, if it comes out that he did do it, I still don't think people would care.
Well, Stormy Daniels, how many people cared?
Exactly, you wouldn't, but at least you admit it.
Well, I mean, it's you're judging it by a different standard. I mean, the claim was that he was racist, and there's at least a dozen or so different ways that we can show that
He said
this isn't how a
Mexico
racist.
is going. He said Mexico.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
I don't know why people are being racist to black people. Because if you're not black, you should not be racist to black people. Let the black people live how they're living.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm not black. I'm just saying.
Right. And how does that make you feel, Alex, when African
And it
Americans?
makes me like it hurts my feelings.
Right.
And I have a black friend too, and it hurts my feelings when people do that.
Yeah. Yes. I'm glad that you shared that. If you could do anything to change the way people treat people, what would you do?
Just leave it.
Me,
Yeah. If you could do
I would
something.
just I would just tell them to stop being racist and not be. Yeah.
The door's shut.
I put her in a room. I didn't know that the sandwich is there. What now? What should I do now? What did you put in the sandwich? Mustard and mayonnaise and cheese. That's all me. Sorry, my mom.
Oh, it's okay.
All right.
Why did you put it in?
For me, I'm just don't like when people are being racist to people because it's first, it's not nice to be racist. Second, don't not if you have nothing to say, don't say nothing at all.
Exactly.
Good point.
Exactly.
If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all, or people won't be your friends and people hate you
Exactly.
and stuff.
It's really that simple, Alex. But as long as we are all doing our part, you be nice to people. I promise to be nice to people, and hopefully it will trickle to everybody. But you're absolutely right. I
Yeah,
agree.
that's why I say Black Lives Matter, because I believe in Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
I'm not black, I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. It really is that simple. It really is. My God, if I could stand up right now in a big crowd, I'd give you a standing ovation.
Yeah. I have to go soon, but I can talk to
Okay.
you guys tomorrow. If you
Okay.
guys can go on Zoom again tomorrow.
Yes, we will do that.
Okay.
All right, Alex. You're
I'll talk to you
still
tomorrow.
okay. All right.
Bye.
You're the best. Okay. Bye.
Anyway, in conclusion, I would say at the end of the day, I can show a whole lot of evidence where Trump
Where were we?
doesn't act like you would expect a racist to act. But at the end of the day, I don't know what's in his heart. I would have to know what's in someone's heart to know if they're a racist or not.
Even though you know his history.
I know what people like in BLM have painted his history to be, but I also know the counter arguments to that, and I think they're just ignoring it
His
for convenience.
family has literally came out and said this guy is a crook. He only paid $750 in taxes.
That's awesome. I'm jealous. I so wish I could do that. And
Please,
so does every other
please
honest
get
person
mental.
would say that too. Every other honest person would say they wish they could get away with that too. And it's not against the law. It's
For
not.
me, I hold I would hold our leaders to a higher standard, right? Because he is a representative of us. And right now, he has agitated. He wants to be a nationalist. He did that. He did just that by
I'm a
agitating
nationalist.
the country. If you're a nationalist,
That's a
right?
great thing to be. I think
Oh,
everyone
it's a
should be a
great thing to
nationalist.
be, but yet you're
Yeah.
excluding a lot of people. That's so dangerous
How is it excluding anybody?
because
It's the most inclusive
okay,
thing you could be.
when you're a nationalist, okay, one thing I want to say is this: there's a difference between patriotism and nationalism, and I think there's a lot of Trump supporters that have completely mixed the two. Okay, I'm black and I could be a patriot, but I wouldn't have a Trump hat. I would have an American hat.
The difference between nationalism and patriotism has a lot more to do with foreign policy than anything else, though. If you've actually
Okay,
looked at the
so
definition,
explain Hitler
explain
because he was
Hitler.
a nationalist. Rich.
He was also a socialist by
Okay,
definition.
but there are two types of socialism. Socialism. We've done this.
Maybe there's two types of nationalists.
Okay, and what would those two type of nationalists be?
Well, one might be a race or an ethnic nationalist like
Okay,
Hitler,
ooh,
right? And then
yeah.
one might be a nationalist like Trump.
Okay, and what is Trump? Because this is what a lot of
A
people said in one of
nationalist.
my videos when I called him a white nationalist, and everybody
Oh,
that's
that's not
supported
true though.
said that's not true. But he's white and he's a nationalist, and he's all about division and exclusion, and has done things throughout his life, and is doing things, and in his presidency and his administration that is proving that he could give two craps about my black life.
Well, I don't know. Giving them the lowest unemployment rate in history is probably a good start.
Unemployment rate in history today, or you're talking prior to the COVID-19?
Well, COVID, he's probably done better
Because
than
it's
anyone else could do. But
8.5. It's at an
pre,
8.5 right now, and we're in
yeah.
a
Well,
recession.
so you're blaming him for COVID?
I'm blaming him for not doing his job. He doesn't even take the COVID seriously until he got the COVID.
So he should have locked the economy down and put us into more
He should have
poverty.
done
That would have
everything in
helped.
his power to protect our country, and he failed us.
How would locking down harder and putting more people in poverty be a help?
Listen, I'm not a scientist. I don't know how did Obama do it with the Ebola. The Ebola was just
It
as
wasn't in
serious as the
America.
coronavirus. Only 2 people died.
That's a totally different virus. It's not even close, and it
Yeah,
wasn't
but
in America.
if
Like,
you're going to say that he's taking this serious, then
yeah.
I might have to reconsider on you being on the right
But
side
what?
of mind. He
Here's a
literally
key
said,
theme.
huh?
Here's a key theme. You say you'd have to reconsider. Here's a key thing. I don't know
Yeah, because
if you've
it seems like
noticed.
you're blind to the things that he's done. Dude, he has not taken. He actually said that the coronavirus wouldn't even come here. He made jokes about it.
So again,
He didn't even take his job seriously.
here's a key thing. If you wanted to know these answers instead of just preach to me what you
No, I'm telling you
believe,
facts, but you're deflecting, and that's what conservatives do.
but take a note, take an inventory real quick. This is a good example of how you will know if you're doing that.
150,000 lives, you guys.
You've out-talked
Who
me
caused
like
that?
8 to 1. You've out-talked me and interrupted at every level. You're
Because
not really
because
interested
you're
in knowing the truth, though.
deflecting.
No,
Because
you're not interested in knowing the truth.
the
If you
truth.
were
Okay,
interested
I'm
in
giving
knowing
you
the
the floor.
truth
Tell me the truth.
about what? What'd you say?
Exactly. You don't even know.
Because you're interrupting.
Tell
I
me the
couldn't hear.
truth about Trump. and the coronavirus and the recession. You don't think that we're in a recession. You don't think that Trump has done any wrong. That's what I got from him. So tell me what your thoughts on him being racist, him handling the coronavirus, and him what is he doing in the recession, and what is he doing for Black people? What is he doing? What is Trump doing?
Okay,
We
so
don't see the Black plan.
about the racist thing, I think I've already kind of shared my view on it. There's no way to know someone's racist unless you know what's in their heart, bar none. But on top of that, there is a lot of evidence that if someone was really intellectually curious about, they could find out why it makes sense and why somebody's not a racist if they agree with that line of thinking. So that's the racist part. Now, the corona part is I don't know what somebody expects to help or how it adds value. If you just put a country and the world's biggest economy ever into total lockdown, if it's not going to add any value. We don't know if the lockdown was going to save any additional lives. But what we do know is that the lockdown absolutely crushed our GDP. The longer that persists, the more it hurts Black people. So, one way to help Black people significantly is to make sure that you get them back to work as soon as possible.
And that's exactly what he did.
I think he tried to do the best he could. I don't think it's perfect. I don't think anyone would have been perfect, but
What's the count now of people dying with the
it's
coronavirus?
probably
And how small is that?
500,000 less than it should be.
You said that it was China's fault.
Well, I don't know if it's China's fault. That's just what the evidence shows so far, but I'm sure we'll learn more.
Okay. So basically, what about all other things he's said about Mexico? What about all the things that he said about the Proud Boys? And just why did it take him so long to denounce these alt-rights? Not wanting to acknowledge the BLM, where I don't have the head count of how many people died this year during the protest, meeting the protest with the National Guard, throwing gas and rubber bullets in people's bodies. People have died because of the movement. Whose fault is that?
About the National Guard specifically?
I mean, like this whole situation that's been going on, man. Like, who is involved? Because to me, a leader would lead us to a better scenario, right?
Well,
So I just want to know, what is your thoughts on how our country is today, right now?
oh, we're fractured for sure.
But why?
Well, I would say it goes back to what we started in the conversation. We've allowed ourselves to believe the motive of other people without actually being interested in what how they got there.
That's what you really think?
I'm
'Cause
positive.
that's not really an answer, though.
Well, no, it is. I mean, if you think about it, what is the biggest deficit in our unity today is our ability to have conversations with one another where
But we're
we're
doing it just
sincerely,
fine.
wait, what?
We're doing it, so that's not true.
Well, maybe we are, but would you say that's a common trend that people are genuinely curious about? I'm genuinely curious about what makes you think or how you think, not necessarily what you
But
think,
I
because
just
I
told
already
you that
know.
I think that Trump is racist, and you said that basically you are blind. You
No,
don't agree with me. So
I'm
what point
gen.
would it be that we talk about something when we can't come up with an agreement?
Here's the key to unity. It's gonna start here every single time. It's gonna start in I might know your values if I ask you and I get sincere responses, but that's not where you stop. If you want unity, this is the key. You can't have it without this. You have to want to know why they think that. And that has to be shared both ways. And when it is, that is when unity starts, not any time before ever.
Okay, I agree, but there is a serious problem with people not wanting to know the truth and
I
also
agree.
creating falsehoods about
Yep,
the truth.
I agree.
So I agree with you on that aspect, but we only got a few more minutes. So tonight, I would say that we featured Rich today. Yesterday, we had some
Oh, it
equity.
didn't.
Oh, we
I
got
was
to hear a
hoping
lot
we
about
get.
your views. We got to know Rich today.
See,
But
I
I was
hope
going to see if
though.
you want to answer these questions. 3 minutes now. Let's see here. So Reem Saheed said, Trump is the leader of the country. Tell me why our country is the highest of COVID. She also said Trump does stuff for Black people when they do something for him. Juju said, "Let me at him." She's kidding. Andre
I
from
like Juju.
Charlotte, North Carolina, said the reason we are divided is because of them. And then he said president. And then somebody says, "What to the 10th power?" Then Reem Saheed said, "Trump only does stuff when he gets called out." And then Trump is a racist. Reem Saheed said, "Trump is a racist. He has said the N word, and he has said he doesn't like Mexico." Captain Ansmar says, "Trump is a president of the action, and he has a bad attitude, but he is a good leader." Go. 2 minutes.
That's a lot to unpack. I think so for the COVID thing specifically, I think there's a lot of evidence to show why we have the highest number of diagnostics and the highest number of deaths. I think that has a lot to do with being the world's leader in testing and transparency. There's no question that is directly correlated, and not, and even more so, it's actually causation. So if you study the law of causation, that would fit the bill. Secondly, I guess people are going to want to believe Trump is whatever he is. Again, I'm not here to like convert them because I don't think I will. What I'm here to do, honestly, more than anything, is to sell the idea that we should be curious about why someone thinks that without prejudice, without saying you think this because of why. Well, you don't know why I think it until you ask me. And then when we do that and we multiply that exponentially, we will find we have way more common ground than we do separation. And the filter bubble will burst.
You guys heard it from here first. Rich, the CEO of the filter bubble. But I do think your theory is worth analyzing, and I'm open to it. And I just pray that we can one day agree to disagree, but we have to fix these issues, man. Racism, systemic racism is real. It's not a fallacy, man. People are being killed because of differences. And in order to abate that, we have to start with us, and we have to be better, not only as a society, but just as human beings walking this earth. Because if the world ends, we all go. All right. Thank you so
Let's be
much, Rich.
better.
I will
Yep.
see you on TikTok.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.